Namaste and welcome to our yin class today. Today our class is going to focus on the liver meridian, and I'll tell you more about that as we're going through the class. I've got my mat on carpet today, so if you've got a hard surface, I really encourage you to put a blanket underneath your mat so it's not too hard underneath. We're going to need some props today, so a yoga block. But if you haven't got a yoga block, just use something else that will give you this sort of support. I've also got a bolster, and again, you can use a blanket, you can use whatever. And I'm actually going to use these together for one of our poses today. So I want you to find a seated position because I always start my class with a short meditation, and this is because I'm a little greedy. What I want for you to be here on the mat with me, not just physically, but I want you here mentally, emotionally as well. So find a seated position, and you can use the props if it feels nice. Grab the block, pop it under your hips or cross-legged, whatever feels good. And then land on your mat. Close your eyes down. Roll your shoulders back. And let yourself land on the mat and find the breath. And what we're seeking today is just to connect with that breath, your inhalations and your exhalations. Just finding that rhythm. And then as we settle into that rhythm, it's just around connecting with ourselves. If you are fairly tight through the shoulders, roll them up and back and let them sit on your ribs. Fairly tight through the neck, just gently pull the chin back and then let the head settle on the spine. And then always come back to the breath. The breath is with you always, and it's so beautiful. Just let yourself relax into that. And just touch base with your body today. Where is sensation strong for you? Where is your attention being pulled, where you can just gently come back to the breath? Soften the face, the jaw, muscles around the eyes. And then take a deep inhale into your belly. And then sigh it out, let it go. And one more deep, beautiful breath. And then sigh it out, let it go. And gently open your eyes. Beautiful. And then come up, and if you were sitting on your feet like me, maybe you're going to have to give them a little wriggle. These beautiful feet, they do so much work. So our first one, our first pose is called Caesar toe tuck. And let me tell you, when I tell my classes they're going into that, I do get a bit of moaning and groaning. It can be a really challenging pose, but it works with opening up the fascia in the feet and stimulating all the 6 major meridian lines that come from the feet. Now you can use some props for this, and if you're new to this, I would really encourage you to do that. So grab a bolster, or it could be blankets or whatever, and then you're going to come up on your knees, and you're going to take your knees on top. And see as when I do that, you're going to tuck your toes. So grab your toes, spread them out. And then we're going to come back and sit on them. Now I'm going to time you so you don't have to do this. Now, if at any time it gets too uncomfortable and it gets really quite painful, all you need to do is come forward, give yourself a little rest, and then come back into the pose as you can. Try not to fidget. And let's start. Okay, Caesar toe tuck. So I'm going to talk you into this, and I might come out of the pose just to give you a little more hint of what we're doing. So you can actually sit with this, but what you've got to do is just let your belly go, let your shoulders relax, because we're not wanting this muscular body to do any work. You can drop your head and you can just let yourself sink into this pose. Now, if that is not strong enough, of course, and it's a little too easy for you, you can come down onto the mat on your knees and Caesar toe tap like this. It really is up to you how this feels. So here in this pose, I want you to stay in it. I'm timing you, so you stay in it. We are stimulating our feet to be open and more mobile. It's so important now because we wear shoes so often. Our feet are made to move, and there's so many little bones in there. But also what we're doing is we're stimulating them 6 major meridians that come from the feet up into the body. And the liver begins on the inside of the nail of the big toe. So we're already starting to actually really stimulate that. Now, if it gets it gets too strong, come out, just take your weight here. And then when you're ready, come back into it. You're nearly there. Breathe, use the breath, but really let your body sink into this. You have 30 more seconds here. You stay here with me. Stay here. And truly, this is one that is challenging for my classes, but the relief and the beautiful mobility that you have through your feet, it's just really worth it. Try not to hang on to the core. Let it go. Let your shoulders relax. You're there. Come forward. And then just let your feet just float here. Now the sensation you feel is energy being moved. It's just amazing. So try and stay still here. Maybe close your eyes. And then you can tap your feet if that feels good. You can wriggle your toes. It's your first one done. Caesar toe tuck. Now we did that for 2 minutes today. I work up to about 4 minutes for that sort of thing, but you just take it easy. Some days it's easier than others. So this is actually starting to stimulate the body. Our next one, we're going to stay here. Now this is really interesting. This one's called an ankle stretch. Now you really find out how your body is on the inside with this. So some people, this is enough for them to sit here like this. This is really challenging. For some reason, I was gifted with flexible ankles. I'm still not sure why or what's the use. But for me to feel anything here, because what we're looking at is stretching now the front of the feet here, I have to lift up here like this and really sit back. So you find the pose, get into the pose where you can feel it. And what we're seeking is sensation all the time. So if it was out of 10, 1 to 10, it's a sensation of at least 6. So come into the pose, and I'm going to time you again. And when you're ready, find that sensation, find that 6 out of 10. So again, the belly is relaxed. This is not one where we're thinking about, keeping it all tucked in. We're actually surrendering to our body. We're actually sort of, putting up with where it is and where it's at. My feet are really quite underneath me. The toes are pointed in, sort of touching like a child pose. That might not be for you. Your toes might be coming out or right behind you. There is no wrong in this pose. What we're seeking and our target area is the front of the foot and the shins, because the liver meridian comes from the inside of the big toe and it comes up past on the top of the foot. So we're now trying to stimulate a little higher through that liver meridian. Stay into this pose. And if it gets a little easy, just think about gently, how can I make it a little bigger? And as you can see, I sort of tip back into it. This is super easy for me, but let me tell you, for some people, this is their yucky pose. So You know, what's right for one person is not necessarily right for the other. We've got 30 more seconds here. You stay here with this. So you stay in this pose and let me tell you a little bit about the liver meridian. If the liver meridian is in disharmony, we can suffer from lower back pain. We can also suffer from frequent and unreasonable anger. So, you know, our meridians affect us physically as well as emotionally. So what we're trying to do here is to stimulate, open up that meridian line, open up fascia and movement in your body. So yin is like a tick. It's trying to get you on many deep levels. Okay, come out of the pose. So coming out of this pose is a little different. What I want you to do is gently come to the side. And we're going to come into the favorite part of the class where everyone loves it. This is called rebound. Most of the time we will come into this pose afterwards and let our bodies just really heal. So you come in on your back and stay as still as you can. I want you just to stay there and feel the sensations that you have released. There might be twitching on the body, but I want you to stay still and feel. You stay there. I'm going to just talk you through it. So rebound is where we feel that we've moved energy. We let the body heal itself. Where we've had compression in poses, there is a rush of fluid. Where we've opened up and stretched part of our cold tissues, our fascia, tendons and ligaments and bones. Yes, bones, they're live tissue. Fluid and energy now come to those parts of us. Sometimes rebound can be really strong. Breathe and stay with it. And now to come out of rebound, I give you the offering, and it is an offering, if you want to move your toes and fingers gently, or sometimes the body just asks for that extra bit of stillness. You choose. And then to come out of this, you gently bend your knees up. And you gently roll to one side. So now we're starting to come deeper into our yin practice, where we slow ourselves down and we start connecting within. So our next pose is called swan pose. And you might know this. In yin, we call them slightly different poses. You might know this as pigeon or half pigeon pose. We try to call it a little different in yin so that you know that your body has to react differently. So this is where you can choose to have your block or your bolster. What you're going to do is start with your right leg. You're going to start with your right leg, bring it underneath you. Make sure the knee is wider than the hip. Have a little look over your shoulder. Make sure that left leg is out. So see how you go and just settle into this now. So this actually starts now coming up higher into the body. We're now starting to work through the groin, through the hip flexor, through the psoas. The psoas is a beautiful, beautiful fascial tissue which connects to our lower back. So we're not going to come down in this pose, we're going to stay upright. So this is where you can choose blocks or bolsters. And in the yin, we actually do some really groovy stuff. We lock our bones, and you can see here, I'm going to lock my elbows. I have to rotate my hands to do this. Bone on bone in a still pose is really, really healthy for you. Adds compression when we come into rebound. It adds a beautiful, beautiful flush of fluid into those bones. So you're going to set yourself up here. No belly holding, the belly comes in. You're going to feel this in several places, maybe in the hip, maybe in the groin through the adductors, or maybe in your lower back. This is a beautiful one. Let's start. So set yourself up, come into the pose, and you're going to look a little different to me, and that's really, really okay. Some people might find that they want their hands really quite wide into this. Some people might find that they want their hands really narrow into this. You choose what you feel that feels good for you. And then I want you to have some stillness. Come into the pose. Close your eyes and let your belly go, your head hang, and then just feel it. And you're going to feel it in a little different place to me. At the moment, I can feel it through my left leg at the hip, at the front of the hip, and my lower back. And these are areas that, are maybe a little tight for me. You could feel it somewhere else, and that is really okay. So now we're working up a little higher into our liver meridian. We're coming up now. So it starts at our big toe, comes up through the front of the foot, and then comes to the inner side of the leg, the adductors. And then it comes around to your pubic area and curves around your external genitalia. And then it goes up into the lower abdomen. So now we're tracking this liver meridian. So we said if it's in disharmony, you could suffer lower back pain, maybe frequent or unreasonable anger, and it may absolutely affect your eyesight. It's crazy how this works. And also what the liver, if it's in disharmony, the liver meridian, it's around thinking, what do you need to let go of? What are you hanging on to that's no good for you? Okay? So as you sit into the pose and you feel the sensations, and you have the time, the quiet time to really enjoy this pose, if you can call it that, you can see how connected our body is physically, mentally, emotionally. We are such connected beings. We can't separate one from the other. And so when we're looking after ourselves, we need to look after all of us. Let yourself come quietly into this pose. We stay a little longer because this is a big pose. We start feeling it. And if it actually doesn't, we lose sensation, we maybe make some adjustments so we can feel it a little more. This is the only yoga practice where I would ask you to lock your joints. It's the only practice, but believe me, it's going to feel beautiful when you release. We're there. And this is where we start moving like 90-year-old yagas. We gently come out of the pose. We gently take our body around. And we come into rebound and we let the body do what it knows how to do. It knows how to heal us. And just surrender into rebound. Feel the sensation. Feel the energy moving. Stay still. Stay still. And really enjoy this hard work. Enjoy what you're doing to your body here. How you're stimulating it. How you can move energy. And maybe you actually feel a difference between right and left now. Maybe that right side of your hip feels a little more open. See, you have to be really curious about how you can influence your body. So breathe into sensation. Sensation is just our body telling us a story. Whether it's good sensation or it's challenging sensation, it is still talking to us. And it's up for us to listen. So really enjoy. And now you've got the choice. Do you want to gently move, maybe fingers and toes in your rebound? Or is your body asking you to stay still, stay quiet, and just enjoy that little bit? And then gently bend your knees up. Roll to one side and let yourself hurt. Again, we're not seeking big physical movement here. We're wanting to just move the body slowly. And please, at any time, drink. Our meridians and our fascia move by being hydrated. So we need water. So at any time through this, you want to drink, please grab your water and have a drink. You ready for the other side? Okay, we're coming from right to left. And this can be so totally different. It can be like having two different people in the one body. I know my in practice let me know that my right hip is different to my left. I have a more open hip on my right, a more tighter hip on my left. So you might need to do this a little different, but let's start now. Let's come in, let's tuck that left leg, and let's push the right leg back. So again, what props do you need? Some people prefer to have no props and just come in like this. That's okay. I like to come up a little higher because I feel like it grabs me in the back, and it's really nice because I sit a lot in my job during the day. I'm a social worker, so I do a lot of sitting, and especially now. So if you do a lot of sitting, let's see how you can come up high. And again, I know now, if I want to lock my elbows, I spiral my hands out. I have a little fidget here with the hip and have a look over, see where that suits me. And then I come into the pose. I'm going to start us tiny. So you come into the pose, have a little fidget, feel the pose, feel it. And then you have a little play, and then you find that shape. Remember, locking the elbows. So the shoulders are going to come up, and you're going to let this belly go. Okay? No holding your core in this class. It's actually just hanging off our body. And then you start feeling it and sort of be really curious, because you can have like two different bodies. You can have a right side that you don't feel a lot, and then when you do the same exercise on the left side, it's like, oh lordy. So see how it feels, and then you come into it. So like this side, I know I'm heaps more open on this side, so I have to do a little bit of adjusting. I have to come up even higher on this side to feel it, and then I just really sink in and breathe. The reason, I want you to stay here while I chat to you, the reason I chose this liver meridian flow is realistically, in Eastern medicine, they say a healthy liver is the reference to a healthy body. If you have a healthy liver, it's your body is really quite healthy. If your liver is under stress or unwell, it has implications for the whole body. And as we've found out with our liver meridian, if your liver meridian is in disharmony, lower back pain, there is more things that can be affected, can affect your eyesight. Crazy, isn't it? But it also affects us emotionally and mentally as well. So, we've got to look at ourselves, as I said before, holistically. We've got to realize that, we are completely joined together, and that's physically and emotionally and mentally as well. So it's important that we look after all parts of us. So we've been holding this pose now for 2 minutes and 15 seconds. How does it feel? Do you feel like that you're sinking into this pose a little more? Breathe and let yourself surrender. So I tell my classes, I say, think of your body, your bones as being the coat hanger, and your muscular body is the silk dress or shirt that you've hung on the coat hanger. And you're just going to let that dress or that shirt just hang. And you're just going to hang off your skeleton and just see what the body does. So hence, no holding with that body, that muscular body. Now, let's find rebound. Move slowly. Honor the work that you've done with your body. Push your props to the side. Just gently come. Help your body when you need to. And then find your rebound. Don't rob your body of this rebound. This is where it heals. Gently come on down. And then just let your body rest and let it heal here. Feel sensation. Feel maybe the left hip is a little more open And feel maybe stay here and feel maybe, you know, where you've had your elbows locked and then you let it go, that there's a rush of fluid into those ends of those bones. So bone is fascia that is calcified, but it's still a living tissue. And it needs the encouragement of fluid to move through it, or movement, or anything like that. So our yin practice, where we hold the pose and are really quiet, you know, and then we come into rebound and fluid rushes in. It's so beautiful for your bones. So let yourself just really relax there. And now to come out, you might want stillness again, or you may choose to gently wriggle the toes and fingers. And when you're ready, bend your knees and come out. Beautiful. We're nearly there. Okay, I've got one more pose before you go into Shavasana. This pose, beautiful pose, is called butterfly. I love it. It's one of my favorites. In Yin, we call this a multitasker because it actually does lots of your body. I'm going to do it facing you first, but then I might go on the side too so you can see some differences. This works the back body. It works the adductors through here. It can work through the hips. Hence, we call it a multitasker. So in butterfly, you know, like you just find your butt and you put your soles of your feet together. There has to be quite a big diamond shape in front of you here because we're not seeking to bring those heels into the groin. And if you see me, I sort of wriggle a little bit and sort of walk my sit bones back. And then you just take a breath in, let your hands come side, and then you just let yourself sink in. So it looks a little like this on the side. Let the belly go, let the knees fall where they want to. Now you can choose to have the hands forward. You can choose to have them back here. You can choose to have them out to the side. Really, it's whatever feels good for you. This always feels good for me. The head just drops because the head's so heavy. We use that counterweight here and then we just let ourselves sink. This is one where you're going to have to fight not holding the belly. Let the belly just go. And you just surrender into this. You might feel this in the back body here. It's a beautiful opening for all this tight fascial tissue around your spine. It's beautiful opening here for the hips, and it's also for the adductors here through where the liver meridian comes. So let yourself just surrender into this multitasker. Let's go. Let yourself surrender in. This is a really introspective pose. You look within. You connect with your breath, and for some of us, you know, it's really hard to sit with ourselves. We feel where we're sore. We feel maybe, you know, where we're tight. But you know what? That's okay. You know, we need to surrender into this pose and let our body sort of discover where it is tight so it can release. So in Yin, we hold the pose because this tissue needs a little time to stretch and open. So close your eyes if that will help and surrender into this beautiful butterfly pose. Breathe in through your back body. Feel it stretching and opening. Breathe. Relax your face. Stay with this pose. Breathe into sensation that is strong for you. And surrender. Maybe feel the upper body just sinking in. Stay with the breath. You are nearly there. You have 20 more seconds. Stay with this. This is one of my favorite poses. Not generally because, I can feel it stretching my body, but it feels so good. Stretching through my back, that's usually pretty tight. And now gently, we're going to come into rebound. This is one where I feel really strong sensation in rebound. So move gently. Oh, let your body come in as gently as it can to rebound. And just lay down. And then stay still. I want you to stay there. And if you have really strong sensation in rebound with any of the poses, try and stay still. Try not to move the body muscularly. Try to stay still and just connect with your breath and breathe, This is one where the lower back, if you have a tight lower back, it can really give you strong sensation. So breathe in. And now just gently move slowly. Maybe fingers and toes, and then gently come up. Last pose is our Shavasana. Now, if you are feeling a little chilly, and let me tell you, it's starting to get really chilly in Victoria. So I'm going to put my jumper back on. You might want to grab a blanket if you haven't got one with you. And even if you've got a bolster, pop it underneath your legs where your knees are going to go. It's a beautiful way to take pressure off the lower back. So find your Shavasana shape. This is one where it's the final surrender. And it's so nice to let the body finally rest here. We don't do this often enough. So come into your Shavasana. I like to rotate my palms up. It really encourages the shoulders and the chest to open. And all you do is just let yourself surrender there. So find your shape, stay there with it. And now I want you to just really breathe. Just breathe and relax as much as you can here. And maybe feel sensations, of how we've stimulated our body. But relax. Remember, sensation is only your body talking to you. It's just telling you how it's going, We need to be really switched on with that sensation. We need to honor it. We need to listen to our bodies. So here, just, in your Shavasana, just breathe, close your eyes. If there is strong sensation, send the breath to that place. Breathe into that area. Let it open. Let it expand. And then on your out breath, relief and release any stagnation, any sort of tightness that you may be hanging on to. Let yourself just relax. Let yourself sink into your mat. Surrendering to gravity. Surrendering to the quietness here. Now, when you're ready again, just bring some gentle movement into the body. And what I like to do from Shavasana is just bend my knees up and roll to the side. And I stay on my side, knees bent, on my right side. And this to me is my pause. This is my pause before I come into this external world. It's my pause of just acknowledging the connection that I've made with myself here in my practice before I come out into this external world. It's a little bit like the last hug. Let yourself just gently come up now to any seated position that feels okay. It doesn't have to be cross-legged, believe me. And then just find your sit bones. Let yourself sink into your body. Find the breath again, how we started this class. And bring your hands gently together, thumbs to heart. And from my heart to yours, have the most beautiful of days. Namaste.